COVID-19 wasn't bad enough, as if race riots weren't bad enough, we now have to unleash the Pink Pussy Brigade. Hey everyone, and welcome to Patriot Crusader Mission Episode 8. We're so pumped to be here. I, again, hunted down, tackled, thumped her on the back of the head with my caveman club, and dragged her into the studio. I am with my beautiful and amazing co-host and wife, Ms. Lauren Perry.
Hello, hello. Happy to be here, clubbed on the head or not.
Hopefully you'll forgive me. But anyways, this has been a real busy, I think, 8 days since we filmed.
Yes. The world is not stopping.
No, the world is not stopping. The chaos is growing. And unfortunately, the storm we've been talking about and the outer bands that have been hitting us are getting more and more intense. And now we have another storm coming. As if COVID-19 wasn't bad enough, as if race riots weren't bad enough, we now have to unleash the Pink Pussy Brigade.
He's been practicing that all day for you guys.
Yes, because now we all know what's coming. Because I guess it's news to people that there's a bunch of old Supreme Court justices and that Trump was going to get to appoint one for Ginsburg because they ran out of clones for her. The cyborg, finally shut down. But anyway.
May she rest in peace.
Yeah, may she rest in peace. God, forgive her soul and the countless murdered babies that are at her feet. But anyways, let's talk about this, right? This shouldn't be news to anyone, all right? Their Supreme Court justices were always going to be in play. Mm-hmm. So, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the oldest, most fragile, in and out of the hospital, multiple, she's a fighter. She, was had fought cancer for I don't know how long. Mm-hmm. So this shouldn't be a surprise. So why was it a surprise, Lauren?
I think, as we talked about yesterday, or Friday night, I guess, when it happened, it's more the timing of things, as far as it being such a talking point now. I think a lot of people did recognize that Supreme Court justices are on the line as far as voting Democrat, voting Republican in the next term. It was inevitable that I shouldn't say inevitable, but highly likely that she wasn't going to make it through another one.
I mean, they asked her to retire during Obama's presidency because to avoid this.
No. Yeah. And so I think people knew that, but it wasn't so front and center as far as talking points, because there's so much going on right now in the news that's dominating people's mindset on why they're voting one way or the other. And so I think the timing now that it's before the election and what actions are the Republicans versus Democrats going to take since this happened before the election is why it's become such a talking point, because there's all of the political game that's going to go on now pre-election versus just if this had happened during the next term.
Right. Well, one of the main reasons why, I vote long term. Like, I vote so that there is a future for our country. I vote for, stability in the world. I vote, like I said, I guess the best way to say it is long term. Mm-hmm. So every time I pull that lever, I am pulling for Supreme Court justices because, unfortunately, we don't legislate anymore in this country. We throw it all in the court's hands. Right? The left has gotten every victory they've had through the courts and nothing else. They can't legislate their way through anything.
Right.
right? So what do? They go to activist judges over and over again. I swear Justice Roberts must have a dead hooker in his closet somewhere because that guy's totally betrayed his very soul and has been the biggest disappointment out there. But, we keep kicking stuff to the court. And, if you remember during the last time when all the fake, Justice Kavanaugh drama, where all of a sudden he's a serial rapist and gang. It's just the most disgusting garbage. And this is where I was actually accosted in a restaurant with three other dudes about my size in there. And, of course, some pink pussy hat wearing, crazy moon bat had to, in Freeport, Maine, yay, had to come up and, accost us and bother us during our night out with
verbally,
guys. Her husband had to drag her away. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. It should have been a sign for things to come. But, the left is unhinged and they're threatening violence already. Right? Here they are. We're not threatening violence. The right's not threatening violence. What do we have? We're going to burn it down. We're going to burn the whole system down. We're going to do all this stuff using all this language like there isn't, vast swaths of cities that are already in ashes. Right. Like already business owners haven't lost enough. COVID and everything else going on. No, the frickin' Democrats are going to try to incite more violence, more death, more chaos because they want to tear this whole country down. They hate America. They hate everything about America, everything that she is today, everything that she was yesterday, and everything she's going to be. They hate her. They want to remake her in this warped image of socialism and communism and change her, her every aspect of her.
Yeah. Well, and I think, they're using that to, hold probably some senators hostage or sway the American opinion as far as when they should move forward with nominating and vetting and passing in the Senate, saying that all the talking points on the news were, if they move ahead, there's going to be so much more violence. We're already
being blackmailed.
We're already in this tenuous position. Let's just kind of let things chill for now. And that's blackmail. That's holding people hostage. That's holding the country hostage as far as what is constitutionally right to do as far as putting forward the next nominee.
So they're already admitting that the left are violent thugs that have been burning, raping, pillaging, and murdering all across this country. It's absolutely disgusting. And the fact they think they can blackmail us with that. Yeah. I hope Trump calls out the National Guard and they pound some Gen X Zers or whatever the hell they're called, living in their mom's basement. I can't wait for the day they take the chains off the dogs and let them run amok, smashing skulls, because that's what we need. They did. Trump ended it in hours, and everywhere he's been able to. It'll be over in minutes. The day they realize, oh my God, I can't spit in the officer's face without swallowing my freaking chiclets. No, you can't. Well, that's over. That's done. Right? You're burning down cities. You're killing people. You don't get to sit there and do that anymore, and I can't wait for that.
And expand on your point that we were talking about earlier as far as the seeming premeditation or at least strategy in the stacking the courts and the attorney generals and all of that, as far as that now these very liberal courts aren't even pressing charges against all of these rioters.
Yeah. So you have to admire the long-term planning and the brilliance of George Soros and company, because they didn't just go after big races and senator seats and all that. They went after small little races in all their liberal towns and all across America, and they packed the system with liberal district attorneys, because the district attorney's job is to charge, and if they won't charge, then no crime is committed.
Yeah, so I'm not very read into the courts, and I don't follow kind of who Trump appoints, et cetera, but. Have I heard correctly, or am I recalling correctly, that Trump has put in more on the smaller, lower courts than
Trump has appointed more.
Neglected that. So is Trump kind of going against what you're saying as far as stacking?
Well, he's stacking the federal courts.
Okay.
Right, but if you look at where hell is being raised, It is in liberal states run by liberal governors, liberal cities being run by liberal mayors with liberal DAs and liberal judges. Right. And that's why they're at. So they went to, I can't remember where they went up to, was it Lancaster? Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
That's where that
where the latest shooting was, where the most justified shooting I've seen in a long time, a guy charging you with a knife, you freaking smoke him. That's basically what you do. You don't have to, as a cop, it's not your duty to get stabbed.
Right.
Right. So what they did was they arrested him, they charged him, and guess what? They put $1 million bail on each one of them.
The protesters.
Guess what didn't happen day 2?
The rioters. Yeah.
No riots anymore after that. Mm-hmm. Imagine that. The system works when you allow it to work. Right? No, hey, we're not going to give you bail. You're in and out in 15 minutes, which is what they've been doing in San Francisco, Portland, New York City, and all these other.
Go back and whoop it up the next night.
Yeah. You know, they're just turning and burning. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, it was good to see a judge actually do their job.
It must have felt good for law enforcement in that area.
Yeah. And so again, the system works. And, you know, we were talking about this. We just had a lengthy 90-minute seminar on this coming storm for businesses and for risk managers. And, you know, normally we don't have civil unrest and emergency operation plans or crisis management plans in the past because we can never fathom that the Democrats would be so evil that they would just let people suffer and keep the police away from protesters and sacrifice their own cities for the altar of leftism, at the altar of leftism. I just can't fathom it. I can't fathom not having control of your city for 100 days.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy when you actually think about it and like see that number on paper. And it's been more than 100 now.
Yeah. Like, how could anyone ever vote Democrat
the poor
again?
people in that area who are just wanting it to be over.
Like seriously, how can you ever vote Democrat again? I mean, if I would never trust, I'm never going to trust anybody with a D next to their name. We've seen it.
You haven't in a while, but I would say there's probably some newer converts.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, they're insane.
Well, I think it goes back to, I mean, if you're willing to put the blinders on, you can toe the party line and say, well, this is Trump's administration. He's the one who stirred up all of this angst, so it's his fault.
No, he's not. It's the left.
That's what
the left.
That's what the talking point is.
Right. I understand the talk. They hate They hate Trump more than they love America, and they will burn her down to try to get rid of him. And I'm predicting it, folks, with a lot of other people. I predict a massive landslide victory. I think that people are over it. They've seen that Trump has done a lot of things and he's inflamed things. But one thing he does is he unmasks everyone. Mm-hmm. He forces everyone into their corner so you can see who they stand with.
Well, and that kind of bringing it back to the Supreme Court seat and kind of what should the administration do, what should the Senate do, et cetera. And we've had, the handful of Republican senators come out already and, kind of pussyfoot around it saying, we don't feel like it's the right thing to do right now to vote on a nominee. It's too close to the election. We should wait till after. Susan Collins, where we are, is one of those. And I was just, before we came up, Charlie Kirk was on the news in a segment, saying that especially after Kavanaugh and how just exhausted Americans are at the charade and this total circus that turned into.
Now's the time to do it.
And that there, with elections that were after that situation, I can't remember if we either flipped or we held on to seats as far as that people they just wanted to go Republican because of what the Democrats did.
Yep.
And he was saying that he thinks, well, a lot of the talking points are, these Republican senators are thinking that if they commit to voting that they're going to lose votes. He's like, no, the public is just so sick of it. He thinks that if Republicans actually do what they say that they are going to do when they got voted in the first place, do their jobs, that people will reward that versus the run away from it that a lot of these senators are doing.
The Susan Collins and the Romneys and who's the crazy chick out in Murkowski out in Alaska. Mm-hmm. They're just embarrassing. They're embarrassing. I mean, we live, a block and a half from Susan Collins. And it's absolutely shameful. Like, the days of playing nice are over. Do you think the Democrats would hesitate for a second right now? Like, they passed Obamacare on a technicality. There is no more anything. No. You do what you do when you have power, and that's it. There is no more playing nice.
The
scorched earth.
The person who does it, I don't like the hypocrisy. I don't like, that kind of take the high road in me person, which is my tendency. It's like, okay, well, what the Republicans did in 2016, it's like now we're totally flip-floppy and it just doesn't look good and et cetera, et cetera. But I do agree. I can step back from that and say we're well past that. Yeah, we're well past the high road.
There is no way right now that if Chuck Schumer was not in office, when Obama went to prison, we're using Obama's argument against it. Ruth Bader Ginsburg wrote a piece saying that they don't want 8 seats. They need somebody appointed now.
Yeah.
And the Republicans said, well, if you had Congress or Senate, you could do that. But when they split, we're not going to do it. I don't even care about the hypocrisy. I don't care about anything of it. This is so damn important because guess what, people? If you haven't figured out, if we have a contested election, guess who becomes president? Nancy frickin' Pelosi. She's third in line right now. Right? And it's going to go to the courts. And if you have a 4-4, what can you decide? Nothing.
So explain the 4-4 to me in that it was just a liberal judge who died. So wouldn't that...
You can't count on Roberts to do anything.
But we were with Kavanaugh in, wasn't it 5-4 in favor of more conservative judges?
Well,
with I know one being
it basically I think turned out to be 4-5 with Roberts being the liberal,
being more liberal than expected. So
now that we've got you've got 2 in there, I think here's how I think this is going to play out, and here's how I think Trump is a genius in this. He's going to appoint that Catholic female
something Barrett,
who's in her 40s, attractive girl, brilliant, was confirmed not too long ago for her, appellate court, whatever circuit court she's in, and the only thing then were they going to accuse her of rape?
Right.
No, they went after her faith.
Did they?
Yeah, they went after her. She's Catholic. Yeah, she's got like 7 kids.
Yeah.
She's a Catholic, and they tried attacking her faith, and she absolutely smashed them in the face with it.
Yeah.
So here's what I see, them coming after her faith on national television during the confirmation hearings, and every Christian in America seeing that.
Hopefully that'll stir them up. So that's certainly a reason to try to get that started at least prior.
Well, it's going to start next week, but, let's talk about how this should play for Susan Collins, right? I think by her going, here's what she has to do. She has to do this. She's got to put a finger in the wind.
For sure. I'm sure when this came
she's behind in the polls right now, right? But here's the deal. Anybody who would be upset with her for court picks is already voting against her for Kavanaugh.
Right.
So the only people she's going to piss off are the people who were voting for her because she did the right thing with Kavanaugh. All the crazies are already gone.
Yeah. Well,
they already fled to whatever her name is.
I know that she needs some Democratic votes in order to win, I believe. And so I think it's probably trying to cater to that kind of more moderate.
All she's going to do is you're going to see her poll numbers tank for this. Because every Republican out there is gonna be pissed, and she's gonna lose. She's gonna lose.
Yeah, so she rode the line on her statement. So she said she fully supports him nominating. She fully supports the next step of what is the smaller group that vets or does the initial before the Senate votes.
The Judicial Committee.
Yeah, maybe. I guess so she should go through that, but she doesn't think it's appropriate to hold the vote. So
it was a politician's answer, but it's bullshit.
It's kind of like both parties can be happy.
BS.
Right. And so I saw someone a Democrat, they posted, well, this makes me respect her a little bit more at least. And someone commented, but does it really? Like, did she really do anything with saying that? Because so what if Trump nominates and gets to the point of voting, and then it's post-election but pre-transition in January, and then they vote, and it's still Trump's nominee. It's still, even if those senators are going to flip in January, it's still a Republican Senate for the next month.
Yeah.
So he's like, what really did she?
Well, all she's done is proven that you can't count on him. Mm-hmm. Right? So, I mean,
I think a lot of Republicans know about Susan Collins by now.
Well, no, but I mean, she came through for Kavanaugh. I mean, she could have caved like the rest of them. I mean, I had a lot of respect for her there. It's ridiculous that, there was these females up there who were obviously full of it. Mm-hmm. It was so dishonest and so false on its face.
Yeah.
They should all be in prison right now for fake charges. They should all be in prison for fake charges right now. Blasey Ford and all the other stuff. They should all be in freaking making big rocks into little rocks right now in a federal penitentiary. Hard labor. But anyways, instead, she, got up there and she did it right? So, or she pulled the right way. But now here we are again, and it's like, why even bother running as a Republican? Just run as a damn independent.
Independent, certainly.
And why even try to play the game?
Yeah.
You're like Manchin. Manchin, Manchin at least, he's going to vote Democrat unless he's given permission.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's it's just ridiculous. So anyways, I just find it, very sad. And I don't think she gains anything by it. I really don't. I think her poll numbers are going to tank amongst the conservatives. And
I think she'll
then she's going to have
more Republicans than she would gain Democrats.
Yeah. Like, do you think she's going to flip people blue during the most contentious election in history?
Might be on the fence, might say, oh, okay, she's not supporting the hypocrisy. I personally agree that it's appropriate to wait, and so does Susan Collins now. So that might get the people who.
I mean, you're a Mainer. Maybe you feel that way. I think it's all BS. I think that Democrats are going to pull the lever for Democrats, and Republicans are going to pull them for Republicans. And if she's going to lose, she might as well go out in a freaking blaze of glory and do the right thing right now.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting if. I know she's come out saying, I don't think it's the right thing to do, but if it comes down to that they put the vote up, she's going to have to. Yeah,
she's going to have to vote. No. She's either going to vote yes or no.
And can they recuse themselves?
Yeah, but that's actually, I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I mean, I guess she could vote.
Abstain.
She's never missed a vote. That's her thing right now.
So she would have to put her money where her mouth is. So she might.
Right. She'll have to wait. What do you guys think of this cool winter hat here? I mean, it was 36 degrees.
It was chilly up here in Maine.
So I decided to break this out. This new swag. Look at that, huh? I mean, check it out.
I think everybody's needing one for Christmas.
Come on, focus on it, camera. Oh, man. But anyways, the stitch work looks awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the sword in there, the stars, the whole thing. It's great embroidery work, and it's nice and warm. I'm melting with it on my head right now. A great swag. Get them on the
well,
website.
Now he has hat, so he can't pick it
up. So, I mean, it's not like I got a bunch of hair, right?
Yeah, fresh haircut.
Yeah, fresh haircut straight from Lauren.
From Mama Perry. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's 24 minutes on the Supreme Court already.
Yeah, well.
Or around 20-something minutes on it.
Well, that's compared to the 48 hours that the news has managed to talk about.
Yeah, and that we're going to be dealing with for the next 3 to 6 weeks, right? So anyways, what does this mean to you? It basically means that we have a really good chance to shift the court for the next 2 decades.
Which, as you said, we already had that chance by voting for Trump, but now it's just front and center.
Yeah, and if Trump wins again, he may get 2 more seats. Right, he may get 2 more seats. He might get some conservative judges retiring. There's rumors that one of them wants to retire, but it'll like Justice Roberts won't be able to screw this up.
Yeah,
until they get dead hookers in everyone's
what's
closets.
the whole deal with the stacking the courts thing? Like, I know that they
so
keep
now
saying
that's they want
to
to put 13
15
in there or
yeah.
something like that, right? Yeah, it's
So that would have to be passed by Senate?
I have no idea the procedure.
Okay.
My ignorance on that. I would go to the Ben Shapiro show if you want to know how to do that. But I know about the deal on that. But I mean, they've been talking about this for a while. It was actually tried during, I think, FDR's thing. He was, it was his option to just pack the court so it would be harder to swap.
Right.
Right. So you could overwhelmingly put, if you're going to do that, you could appoint, well, right now there's 5. They could appoint 4 more judges, all liberal.
Right. If they had the votes to pack it, then they would also have the votes to pick
you'd have it for
right.
30 years or 20 years. You wouldn't be able to. It's just absolute insanity.
I just think it's so stupid that it's a lifetime appointment.
I think it's just, I agree that judges have way too much power in our system right now. I mean, look at how many things that Trump tried to enact got blocked in a liberal court just to be tossed out eventually.
But it also goes back to, it wouldn't matter, I guess, if it's lifetime, if they're truly following just the Constitution. As far as the politics really shouldn't ever be a factor, but of course it is.
Right.
So it's just sad that we're there and like so extremely there, not even sugarcoating it anymore.
Yeah, they don't even hide it.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even hide it. So the next thing I want to talk about, and it's what, a week or 8 days old, so I apologize for that, is, this shooting of these 2 deputies out in L.A., the male and the female. The male was shot twice in the head, multiple times in the arm, was bleeding out. She was shot in the face, as well as, I think, in each arm. She managed to get him to cover, get a tourniquet on his arm because he was bleeding out and going into shock. Radio 911, the call audio is horrible because her jaw is shattered.
Yeah.
I think the nerve in her tongue was also severed.
She tried. She did more than try. She succeeded. But
yeah. Just, an attempted assassination on our police officers. And this just really brings out the war on cops, right? I mean, that's what's going on. I mean, I got that book if you want to pull it up right there. My good friend Tom Tishner got me this book. It's a great book by Heather McDonald, and it's very relevant today. This was where the groundwork was. They talk about where the groundwork was laid, all the way back in 2001. All the way back in 2001, and then basically this is post Ferguson.
Okay.
Ferguson was where this all took its turn, where Barack Obama and Eric Holder declared war on law enforcement. Yeah. So I want to say something to my brothers and sisters out there in blue. I support you 100%. I will fight for you 100%. I had some clowns come at me on social media. One of them, a former cop, who says that, that by saying that we're all blue and that we're not black and white, by not recognizing each other's races, we're trying to do an us versus them mentality, and we're not celebrating our uniqueness. Let me break something down for you idiots out there who want to inject race into anything. Do you know why the Army is team green, Navy's team blue? Why cops are the thin blue line? Why firefighters are red? It's because so we can get rid of the stupid race issues. It's because we're all on one team. We're not about individualism. We're about the team. We're about the collective. That's why America's one flag.
Yeah, it's not about celebrating uniqueness in those circumstances.
That's why I'm not for flying your Irish flag or your Mexican flag or your whatever flag. Fly one freaking flag, and then we're all Americans, we're all one team, and we all have that in common. It's about celebrating that. Do you think in the SEAL teams we'd get anything done if we all celebrated and focused on everything that made us different? Yeah. No, it'd be a disaster. It'd be a catastrophe. Instead, we celebrate everything that was the same, and we worked towards the mission. The mission was, was everything, and we were Team America, right? And that's the problem with these freaking cultural sensitivity, racial diversity, kooks.
Well, I mean, the military is a microcosm of what America is intended to be. Yes, we have, we're the land of diversity, and we've welcomed that in bringing people in all around the world, but under the common umbrella of America and loving country and all of the principles that we were founded on. But it was the switch of celebrating the uniqueness versus the fact that all of that uniqueness could all love the same thing. By then just focusing on the uniqueness, that's where all of this differences, all of that came in. By being unique means different, meaning, who's better than who and all that stuff. That's where that all crept in.
It's all identity politics meant to divide. And being blue and saying blue was meant to basically get everybody on the same page. Mm-hmm. And, so anyways, it was absolutely ridiculous. It was a bunch of gobbledygook, lawyers speak, microaggression, baiting conversation that just made me want to vomit. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you play the game long enough, they'll show who they are. And one of them posted a picture of hands up, don't shoot, hands down, don't shoot, all this stuff.
Hands up, they shoot.
Oh, hands up, they shoot.
So it was all the
hands
list
down, they shoot. Comply, they shoot. What the hell am I supposed to do? They shoot me no matter what. So, again, somebody who has no idea what they're talking about, somebody who's never been shot at in their life.
Someone should make a counter one to that.
Yeah.
Put the knife down, they won't shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
Put your
hands.
hands.
How about just follow instructions
back,
and
they won't shoot.
You won't get shot. You'll go to jail. You'll settle it in court. But then guess what? You won't be a millionaire, right? If you survive your shooting or any of this other stuff. So again, that really really pissed me off because there's nothing easier than kicking a cop right now, and I've seen so many people do it. And I've even seen SEALs do it and disgust me, them playing, even team guys playing the victim card, trying to say, I've read their story and their story's complete garbage, talking about a headlight and this and that and a new car possibly couldn't have a headlight out. Yeah, really? Come on, give me a break, dude. And then having a gun that's not even your gun and just absolute whatever, but the cops are racist, right? I mean, it's just, I just can't even fathom the insecurities that some individuals, even in an elite unit like the SEAL team, seem to carry to this day. Mm-hmm. And it's just shameful. It's sad. It's shameful, and to project that victimology onto, it's the police's fault, is just disgusting.
It's always easier for it to be someone else's fault.
Well, that's the problem, right? Yeah. I mean, the problem with all this is that, we can't hold Black America accountable. Only Black America can. Mm-hmm. Black America has to fix this problem. We can't. Mm-hmm. We're seen as insurgents in their community. They, or oppressors or whatever they want to call it. They have to fix this. They have to fix their fatherlessness. They have to not celebrate the gangbanger. They need to celebrate the doctor. They have to stop going out and making a million babies, to baby mamas, to all these different people, different girls. They have to change their culture, mm-hmm. And that's the big awakening that we have to do. And I pray for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I pray for them. I just, to sit there, to break it down, for them to concentrate on police killings of Black people. It's the equivalent of having a splinter under your little toe, right? A splinter under your little toe that is there. And maybe it's painful. It's a splinter.
Suck.
Right? But your whole body is engulfed in napalm, and that's the black on black crime, right? That is the stuff that they can control in their own community, and they won't. Because it's easier to talk about that splinter than dealing with the rest. And it's just very sad. It's just very sad. I mean, I pray, we're all children and we're of God, we're all made in his image, just different shades of it. Jesus wasn't a white guy like myself. I assume he looked like an Israeli, a medium brown guy.
Yeah.
And I just hope that, my biggest hope in the end of all this, when the dust settles for whatever's about to happen, that we can go back to being Americans first. Mm-hmm. I don't describe myself as a white American. I'm an American who's white.
Yes.
Right. And, I got my ancestry report. I don't say I'm a Scottish American or Norwegian American or an Irish American. I am an American. Mm-hmm. Period.
Yep.
And I don't understand the rest. We don't know what you are. We're going to have to do yours.
I'm a European mutt like you are.
You sure about that?
Pretty sure.
I think we're going to have to do that. Do the big
reveal.
Some
German in there. Probably some English in there. Der.
Would you say der?
Founder. It's my mom's dad's name.
Cool.
Founder.
So we definitely got the German together.
Yes.
I definitely have some German in me as well. So what other stories do you want to talk about today?
Well, we were going to talk about you already referenced it in the police response to it, but the shooting of the guy in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I just think it's interesting. So this guy, he came at the cops with a knife, but he's, since the talking point I've heard about it is that he was a mentally unstable individual and he was off his meds and, he's a really nice guy and if only been on his meds or he just needed some psych help and spinning it like switch hats.
Yeah,
because
too hot with that.
Because he's a mentally unstable individual and because meds work and it was only because he was off meds that they shouldn't have shot him. That special needs people or mentally unstable people kind of get a pass on it. And it's like, those people can kill cops too, they're just as dangerous with that knife too. And so I don't understand why the talking point, well, I understand why they try it because it's the pity party, but it just doesn't seem relevant.
It's not relevant. If someone's going to stab and murder a police officer, guess what? They should be shot.
Well, and supposedly the sister, I believe it was, had said that she called the non-emergency police line and was just trying to get, basically what they're trying.
Yeah, her brother just got shot here. We get to sue now. So now the people who are coming to help.
They wanted to get a counselor out there or something to try to help him. And the cops came instead. And so she's.
Yeah, well, mental illness is a really big problem. And we need to bring back mental health institutes. We need to bring back we talked about this in the active shooter conversation. Mm-hmm. And Ginsburg was, I believe, I was reading some of her more controversial decisions, and one of them was you can't keep people locked up in mental institutes for, an X amount of time.
Oh, okay.
Right. And we've gotten away from mental institutions, and I think we need to bring them back. I think there's a lot of sick people out there who are broken, and there's no safe way to integrate them. Instead, they flood the streets of San Francisco, and they become homeless, drug addicts, or whatever, and they're screaming at the sky, and there's just nowhere for them to fit in.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that there are still some locations for that population of people who the families just cannot take care of them. But I know that what we think of as like the psych ward or, that when people those have largely.
Yeah, I believe a lot of them have been closed and, it's no longer a permanent residence where it used to be.
Yeah. And the stigma and stuff too is so against it.
Well, what else are you going to do with them? They're out there on the street doing, I understand it. I wish there was some other solution. But otherwise, we turn it over. The police have to solve these problems over and over again, right? Well, cops are psych counselors and cops are this. And I love the fact how they're going to defund the police and they're going to bring in counselors and they're going to wrestle with the 7-foot, 350-pound, naked meth head covered in feces. They're going to talk them down.
I think the naive or kind of very tunnel visioned thought process behind those counselors is that they have the verbal judo and skill set that cops don't because they can specialize in that it's not going to get physical, that guy would know don't charge the counselor with the knife.
Yeah, we'll have a couple of their bodies and then that whole program will go away. They'll get killed, murdered, whatever, And, it'll be the same garbage over and over again. There is evil in this world, and evil needs to be put down or put behind bars, and that's all there is to it. Yeah. I'm sorry, sometimes people are born without a balance. I mean, my brother was bipolar. He turned to drugs, and he ended up dying due to complications from heroin. And it's a very sad story. I miss him every day, but he needed real psychological help. And just like that, the guy who died the same way that George Floyd did, that got zero press, the white guy in Dallas, right?
Yes, Dallas, I believe.
Somewhere in Texas, I think, where he was off his meds and he was suicidal and he'd taken meth and was freaking out. And he actually called for help.
He called the cops for himself.
Yeah, he called them on himself saying, I am freaking out. I need you guys to come here. And they, in this case, they killed him. Yeah. And they laughed at him while he was dying. And nothing there, right? Just another white guy dead.
Yeah. Well, you wonder, if you're looking at that apples to George Floyd, and now the reports, you can look at it and say there was enough drugs in George Floyd's system. He was saying, I can't breathe before they even were touching him.
Yeah, because he had 6 times the amount of fentanyl,
so then that likely at least contributed to the fact that he did end up dying under the knee. So you wonder if you're going to say that about George Floyd, perhaps.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was a respiratory suppressant, right? So meth is hypes you up. I
would have to go back and look. I can't remember what.
I mean, and that may be the case. It may be that he OD'd, right? It may be that they simply.
I think he was a bulkier looking dude, which probably with the weight. Made it harder for him to breathe. But still, there's enough of a comparison there, especially at least in the lack of press,
and I don't think none of them meant.
No one knew. This was several years ago.
Yeah. And of course, I don't believe that they meant to kill him either. So then something pretty disgusting came across. So we put out a post celebrating one of the female deputy who was so heroic in that. And then someone came out and slandered her on my page saying that they were dirty cops and that's why they got shot. And I said, okay, well, where's your evidence?
Yeah.
And crickets. Then tonight, one of them came back and said, well, she laughed at a Hispanic kid the cops killed earlier. There's videos of it all over the internet. I spent about 15 minutes looking for anything on it. Nothing.
Yeah. Nothing. So there was a Hispanic kid killed earlier and she laughed at it?
It was like broken English, stuff misspelled. Totally like hooded up.
But that's why they're dirty.
But that's why they're dirty cops, because she laughed at somebody. She deserves to get shot in the face.
Allegedly,
right? Yeah. And then of course I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
Now maybe there'll be some stuff out, and if she did that, that's horrible.
Still
right?
not.
There's nothing to justify her to get shot.
It
justifies her getting reprimanded and being done that way. And again, I don't know the circumstances of that because I don't believe it happened.
Right.
Right, but then I'm sitting here on the threads, and I'm trying to articulate things, and of course you can guess the type of people that were sounding off here, and I'm like, where's your proof if you're gonna claim that this is before this one? Where's your proof that they're dirty? And then a girl comes on the thread. Where's your proof they're not? I'm like, that's not how our system works.
Right.
Where's the proof that you have never committed a crime? I think you have. Prove you haven't.
Right.
I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. Our whole society has just gone down this dark tube of into what, as Ken says, into insanity. Yeah. He calls it the spirit of Antichrist, which is biblically they said that we were going to be cursed with insanity, and I don't think there's any other way to view it other than insanity. So now I'd like to. Was there anything else that you wanted to?
No, I think that wraps that one up.
Okay, I thought there was one other topic.
Oh, well, yeah. The Cuties Netflix.
Oh my God, want to talk about disgusting? Go ahead.
Yeah. So a lot of you probably have heard about it. It's been on the news. Very controversial. So Netflix just recently came out with a new film called Cuties, featuring a little group of 11-year-old girls who are. I'm not sure how they describe them, exploring their sexuality, femininity. I don't know what, I hate to even put the word feminine on that. So I think that the theme is that there's
Can you
this,
pull up
this
that post and
I
talk
will.
about it?
This main
she did
character,
a really good job of breaking it down.
But the main character is gasp, raised in a conservative family. I think.
Oh my goodness.
I can't remember some. I don't want to name the religion. I don't recall which religion the family is. And she starts to see, these other girls kind of, living a more, they're looser, happier, more outgoing. And so she, it's the cool girl clique, whatever, and starts exploring that. That's what they sold it as. But basically, this film is porn with minors.
Pedophiles. It's pedophile porn, and that's Netflix. And it's absolutely disgusting.
So I'm going to read. So there's two things that I've seen various kind of reactions on Facebook. So one I'll read is about the fact that this is essentially porn. So for those claiming that the filmmakers did, quote, nothing illegal, the law and case law is crystal clear here. The filmmakers and Netflix have violated Title 18, Section 2256. The Fifth Circuit created the DOST test, D-O-S-T, a 6-factor test to determine if images are child porn. Here they are. 1, whether the focal point of the visual depiction is on the child's genitalia or pubic area. 2, whether the setting of the depiction is sexually suggestive, that is, in a place or pose associated with sexual activity. 3, whether the child is depicted in an unnatural pose or in an inappropriate attire considering the age of the child. 4, whether the child is fully or partially nude. 5, whether the visual depiction suggests sexual coyness or a willingness to engage in sexual activity. Or 6, whether the depiction is designed to elicit a sexual response in the viewer. The Netflix film blatantly zooms in on sexual parts of little girls as they dance suggestively, partially clothed for adult audiences as explicit sexual exploration. It fails the DOS test. And then, so this is, I took a screenshot of the Netflix description of Cuties. 11-year-old Amy starts to rebel against her conservative family traditions when she becomes fascinated with a free-spirited dance crew. That's what they describe it as. And so, just right there, what they're seeding that you need to rebel against if your family's conservative. And to become free-spirited, obviously young girls will probably be attracted to that description. And so then this is a write-up that someone did after they watched only part of the film and saying, so I'm halfway through Cuties on Netflix. I decided to watch it to argue that people were overreacting. I can't. I've seen 11-year-old girls in crop tops, heels, tight-fitting bottoms, intentional angles to show these girls' butts and chests. I've heard 11-year-old girls talk about oral sex. I've watched 11-year-old girls tell their friend to go get a picture of a boy's penis as he uses the restroom. I've watched little girls teaching each other to look more sexy as they dance by twerking and putting their fingers in their mouth. 11-year-old girls lying about their age to boys. Then this 11-year-old dances for a grown man to get out of trouble, and he is absolutely loving it. He licks his lips as he watches her. The camera is angled at her butt and midriff as she dances for him. The main character gets caught with a stolen phone and tried stripping to get herself out of the situation. Cool thing is, I'm pretty sure this adult male is her cousin. An 11-year-old girl posts a picture of her crotch on social media to gain popularity. These are babies being sexualized. If you say this movie is meant to empower girls to follow their dreams, you're full of it. It's rated TV, mature audience. It's not even intended for children. This movie is meant to entertain pedophiles and nothing less. It's absolutely repulsive, and I hope every single adult that had any part in the making of this movie is ruined by it.
Unfortunately, they won't be. They'll be celebrated by it, right? I've already seen some positive posts out there and positive press. Yeah. And it's absolutely disgusting.
I heard that over 600 girls, 11-year-olds, auditioned, and they had to do this partially naked audition. It's like, what parents... You're so desperate for your child to be famous that you probably, I'm sure a lot of parents don't even know what they sent their kids into audition for. Yeah. Well, it's sick.
It's we have friends out there that work at Deliver Fund, like Full Love and others. And, doing great things. And I know the SEAL community, there's a lot of my brothers.
Yeah.
And as well as some of my former partner and other friends who are out there battling sex trafficking and sex crimes and all that stuff. And, you guys are doing such an important job.
I'm sure it disheartens people who are putting their lives and their kind of their mental safety on the line, having to look at that stuff and deal with that stuff every day, to see things come out in a way that that these kids are going to be exposed to that and become the next generations of kids that they are now having to go save.
I mean, it really is disgusting, and it's just so darn disheartening, and it just shows you this Ken is 1,000% right. Mm-hmm. And that we're losing our mind. Mm-hmm. We're sexualizing babies.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's like, it's feminism that's gone so far off the rails. We're so desperate to be seen as equal. We're so desperate to be seen as empowered that we're willing, that we've skewed that we think that empowered, equal women have to be this hyper-sexualized being in order to be seen the same as men. And it's like, I don't know where people got that mindset that being empowered and equal as men means that you're the one who's like naked on the dance floor. But I mean, now that's what we are teaching our girls, that's what it means to be a woman. And that's just devastating. I mean, I'm grateful that B is only 16 months old and she's not even aware of this world yet, but it's also so intimidating and overwhelming to know that we're going to be navigating all of these landmines that are set to trip her up and get her on the wrong path. And we're constantly going to be fighting that to steer her in the right direction.
Yeah, but the thing is we're plugged in, right? Like, I don't think either one of us have blinders on.
No.
So literally making sure that we screen everything she watches.
Absolutely.
Right, just like you said, that horrible suicide video embedded in kids' movies on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? And being plugged in. And if you're going to have a phone, I'm going to have spyware on it. And I'm going to know everything you do with it.
Yeah.
Period.
But it's just like, you don't know. I mean, it's managing, and I think a lot of people, like, it's managing friend groups, and knowing kind of what influences are those friends under as far as who their parents are, and et cetera, because it doesn't matter. We can control everything on social media. We can control, I can't say everything, but majority of social media, majority of access on phones, internet, et cetera. But what are they hearing from their friends when they are hanging out and we're not with them?
Yeah, and that's the key. And it's being rolled in. Like, I'm not so worried about it with us and our church.
Yeah.
And plugging in and knowing the adults there and going on and
I think
knowing
people
the
become
families.
complacent, though, and I'm not saying that we
people
will.
No,
I mean,
no, they will, and bad things are going to happen in that.
Yeah,
that
they're like,
group
oh,
as
we're
well.
in a church
No
environment.
one's isolated from that. That doesn't mean that one of those kids isn't going to be bad. It doesn't mean that bad things aren't going to happen. I'm just saying that I'm hopefully going to become aware of sooner.
Well, and I think it's so important to talk to your boys and girls. Boys need to understand why it's not okay to support women being sexualized in this way, that's not what they should expect from girls, their peers. But girls, I think age appropriate, and I'm still learning this as a young Christian, how to educate my own child on being a child of God. But I think, where so many men and women go wrong is where they seek their approval. And, that the sexualization of women and girls is, these girls are seeking their approval from older men and from their social group, et cetera. And it's drilling that in and making them truly believe in their heart that it's to seek approval from God is the only place that they need to turn to for that. And really getting them to believe that. And that's something I'm still learning as well.
Well, it's also teaching them morals are not subjective.
Right.
Right. It's really coming off on a solid foundation on what is good, what is bad, and proper behavior.
I remember I think a lot of, especially kind of Christians who want to kind of keep their kids in a bubble, they try to avoid exposure in any way. They figure that might be the best way. And then obviously it's kind of, the kids want what they are forbidden to have. I remember Ken talking in your interviews about kind of how to raise a man when you have a son. And I don't remember which conversation it was a part of, but he would say, we would capitalize on your time when you're with your kid in the car and listen to the pop songs on the radio and talk about the lyrics and what are they trying to get at? What are they trying to teach the listener and getting them to understand how are they being spun and manipulated.
That's great. Yeah.
Teaching your kid how to analyze that stuff versus just trying to hide it.
Seeing the motivation behind it, see what's being celebrated. Is this something that we want to affirm? Mm-hmm. Right? Is this something that, listening to that or watching that movie and
I think that sets them up so much better than keeping them in a bubble that's going to be popped as soon as, they're exposed to that more and more of that world that's inevitably going to come in.
It really brings me to a self-defense class that we put on in Virginia. And we showed footage. I mean, this was a women's self-defense class where we were going to talk about rape. We were going to talk about bad things happening. And we didn't show any nudity. We didn't go any parts, or we didn't go over any of that stuff. We kept it very PG-13. Mm-hmm. We showed 5 o'clock news footage from the news. 5 o'clock
we had talked about girls in the area who had been killed by a serial killer.
Yep. And we showed a home invasion where a new mom was brutalized by a home invasion.
And it was the news footage version that was paused when it got too serious.
So it didn't show all the brutality of it. And I got reamed from a mom who, this girl's going off to college. Mm-hmm. And I got reamed from mom saying they had to pray to Jesus to protect them and go to sleep at night. And all I could sit there and look at her mom is, oh my God, you've done such a disservice. Mm-hmm. You are sending your daughter as sheep out into the wolves to be slaughtered. She's going to a secular college and she is going to be thrown into the mix with predators of all types, and you've given her nothing.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Shame on the little safe box that you kept her in, that now she's got to go out and play out there with the worst of the worst, and you didn't equip her.
Yeah.
And, that won't be us. I mean, we're going to have to watch hard things. We're going to have to be exposed to things, because that's how you become strong, and that's how you
it's all how you
learn.
Approach it. Yeah. Exposing from the safety of your home, where they can ask questions, where they can work through it with your parent. But this ties into the conversations we've had the last several podcasts about the sex trafficking and the pedophile stuff and the rings that have been broken up. But it's so heartbreaking to see and to think about the next group of girls that are being groomed because of this film.
Yeah, and, that's just the one we know about, right? I mean, how many other underground things are out there, or other...
I think it's the fact that it's on a platform like Netflix.
Yeah.
And, how many kids have...
And how much blowback they got, and they didn't just cancel it.
They didn't cancel it, yeah.
And
you said that you saw that as one of the highest rated...
Yeah, it was number 5. Yeah, the highest rated thing.
And
I'm sure there's a lot of people curious going to see and screen it to be like, is it really that bad? And like that article saying, I went there to say it's not that bad, but it's even worse.
Yeah,
it's far worse than you can ever imagine. Yeah, I want to end on a high note, and I want to get you guys caught up on what's going on in our life. We've gotten multiple offers on our home, so it looks like our home is going to sell, and we're going to be able to hopefully move on something here locally, if that's what we're called to do. Business is picking up for us. It seems like the economy's starting to come back to life. We've had some, our pipeline is looking healthy. Mm-hmm. So, that part is good. It's not money in the bank yet, but, we're feeling affirmed that things are going on. Things that are going to continue to happen with Patriot Crusader Mission. We're getting ready to kick off a 90-day challenge. I've been kind of working on it, as you guys know, piecing together days here where it's going to be 90 days to kind of take your life back, because I don't think 30 days is long enough. You don't build enough of a habit. Yeah. And we've been working on behind the scenes on that with a new website and some other things. We're also going to be putting out some training content or recommending training content. I'm not going to make a video that 6,000 other people have made. I'm going to recommend which one I think is the best for you. I mean, that's not what we are. We're not we're a lifestyle channel for you guys, and we want to be a resource for you. So when I want to brush up on, my long distance shooting, I'm going to tell you where I went to brush up on mine. I'll debrief what I thought about what they did. And if there's anything I would change, great, or any mistakes or anything I learned, I'll highlight that. And I really think that'll enable you guys to come here, and we want to be able to sift through all the billions of videos out there and all the content out there and say, this is the 10 I would watch. And this is what I would do and why I think that. So that's our promise to you. I'm really excited to keep doing this. And we're also getting ready to working on our LMS course for people out there, for the individuals as well. So again, an awful lot. Nothing's moving as fast as we wanted to. Getting pulled because, with Trident Shield doing so well, are starting to come back. It just sucks up a lot. No
complaining about that.
No, not at all. That pays the bills right now. But the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is our Patreon page. That's literally how we've been paying a lot of our bills right now. It's been, we really appreciate all the support from you guys on there. Selling swag, you guys who are buying swag from us, the hats, the shirts, all that stuff. We're getting ready to put out our sweatshirts, sweatpants, and all that winter wear for everyone. It's a huge help, and we really, really, really appreciate that. So, again, go over there, join us, support us. It keeps this stuff on. If you guys want to rate us on our podcast, going to iTunes and giving us a 5-star rating really, really helps us get recommended and for our audience to grow.
And if it's less than 5 stars, you can just message us personally.
Yeah. I spoke to Ken today. We're going to be filming on Tuesday. So Ken's back. He's been traveling a little bit, and we'll have a full Jason and Ken episode coming up here shortly.
And then the next time, we're going to do a little review on the movie Infidel.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen, I posted on the Patriot Crusader Mission page, Jim Caviezel, I think that's how you say his name, the guy who played Jesus in The Passion of Christ. He's a diehard believer and a warrior for Christ. And watching him make the promo circuit on this, he is absolutely taking a hammer and, or screw a hammer, an axe to the church right now, and how complicit they are in closing their doors and, and being shut down.
He called a lot of these churches Judases.
Yeah, he went beyond what I thought even Ken Graves said. Yeah. And I know Ken's been saying a lot of the stuff he's been saying, which has been great. And it's great to see, a leader in the community like that. And he said, we're all, if we're not doing our part, we're Judases or we're Pontius Pilates. Just absolutely, condemning so many people. And he went after bishops, and, he's a Catholic, which of course we're not, but I found him to be very compelling, very believable, very likable. And it was such a blessing to see someone step into that fight.
Yes. Yeah, so we're excited to see we're babyless on Thursday. So we're going to go date night, movie night.
Date night, movie night with the Graves.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
We'll report
back. I haven't been to the movie theater since probably 6 months to a year before COVID.
Yeah.
So it'll be great to go out and get some popcorn.
If they're selling it.
If they're selling popcorn anymore, we'll find out.
And
we'll see how miserable it is if we have to wear masks, or how much we have to.
At least movie theaters are dark. They won't see.
Yeah. But that's all we got. And one of the things I really want to promise you is that as we tackle the challenges of parenting in this high-tech era with the sexualizing and kiddie porn and, the sex culture and everything else out there, and, sex trafficking, we're here with you fighting this battle, and we're going to tell you every trick that we're doing to protect our family. All right.
And if you have tricks, let us know too, because we certainly don't know everything.
We don't know everything. We're going to try to learn as much as we can and share it with you. The best thing I can tell you to do, if you're a parent, whether you're a mom or a dad, go get a gun and learn how to use it. All right. And carry it with you. That is the most effective way to defend your family, period. All right. And
yeah, because probably could guarantee that you could go in the news if you dig for it and find attempted abductions in pretty much every town.
There was one I think I just saw in Europe somewhere where they tried to do it and people in the cafe fought back.
Dove on the kid, yeah. But that happened it's happened in
South Africa,
our town here in Bangor. It's happened in Waterville, which is where we had. It
happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere. Small town, doesn't matter.
Yep. So, I know you want to let your guard down. You want to let your kids play. You want to do all that stuff, but there are sick individuals out there, and we're going to help you, come up with a plan and learn how to parent safely, while not being smothering. I don't think that's a bad thing.
They can't live in a bubble forever.
Or else you'll be like that lady I was talking about. So that's all we got for tonight. So God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. May he protect each and every one of us. May he protect our president and give him the wisdom to lead us through this time. May he protect our troops overseas, our first responders at home, particularly our law enforcement right now. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. Patriot Crusader Mission out.
Good night.